Hello, my name is Kim and thank you for joining me for today's video. I will be going over all of the yarn that I've used so far this year and giving a bit of a stash update. So if you watched episode 13, you will know that I am in the same position. I am filming it on the same day. I just thought that rather than putting it all in one big video, I will separate out my podcast 13 and the first 3 months worth of destashing yarn. So over Christmas at the start of 2024, I mentioned that one of my goals was to destash yarn. By destashing, I can do this in a variety of ways. So both getting rid of, i.e. giving away or donating some of my yarn, but predominantly I wanted to use a lot of it so that I can get my stash down a bit than what I started with at the start of the year. So far this year, so in the first 3 months of doing this sort of destash, I have used 1,718 grams, so 1.7 kilograms. So this averages out at about 570 grams per month. Usually I weigh yarn, or usually yarn is either in 50 gram balls or 100 gram balls. And the reason that my yarn usage is a bit up and down, it's quite random, is because I work with predominantly scrap yarn. So I work with a lot of yarn that was secondhand. I get it in destashes, in charity shops. Different friends and family give me various bits of yarn to use, and that tends to sort of give me a lot of scraps. So yes, so far in January I used approximately 335 grams, in February I used 816 grams, and in March I used 735 grams. So January was obviously the slower month of all three. February I used a lot of yarn because I used a lot of scrap yarn and just kept going with it. And in March I finished a crochet jumper that was made with bulky yarn, so I used a lot more yarn on that project. So as I said, it averages at around 572 grams per month, which is about 5 100 gram balls, 5, nearly 6. So if I focus a bit more on crocheting in the next few months, I can definitely increase this, I think. Yeah, I definitely think that I can increase it. So in my stash in total, so as of today, I've worked it out that I have, don't faint, 13,813 grams of yarn. So that is 13.8 kilograms. So again, most of this yarn tends to be scraps under 50 grams, between 50 grams and 100 grams. And I've also got some big lots of yarn. And by that I mean yarn cones, which are about 500 grams each. Or I've got sort of lots of yarn that is intended for a project to be used together, all together. So I worked it out that if I were to use all of my yarn, 13,800 grams divided by my average of 572 grams is approximately 24 months, which is 2 years. I wouldn't say that that's overwhelming. I find it quite inspiring. I think for the moment I've got a lot of works in progress and I've got a lot of planned projects. My focus at the moment is to get my works in progress finished so that I can start moving my planned projects into works in progress. Because I've got a lot of works in progress at the moment, so I've got 6 on the go, I find it a bit trickier to stay motivated to complete them and to not start new projects. I don't get bored easily, but working on the same project for a very, very long time makes me want to start something new. And because I've got 13.8 kilograms of different yarn to use, I look at all of the rest of the yarn and find it so inspiring that I just want to start projects. I've got so many projects that I want to start. I've got so many ideas for the yarn that I have got that I just want to start it. And because I've got so much yarn, it's probably going to be a while, realistically, before I start to use a lot of the yarn that I've got, unless things jump the queue, which would not be great. So my plan for the next 3 months. So the main one is to work through my works in progress so that I have 2 or 3 left. So as I said, I've got 6 works in progress at the moment. So I've got a yellow jumper, I've got a second sock that needs to be finished, I've got a tulip project, I've got granny square gloves, I've got a market bag, a beach bag, sorry, and I have got some, what's it called? A crochet garland. It's a present garland for Christmas. So I've got the 6 projects that I need to finish. Over the next 3 months, I am going to be focusing on the first project, which will be tulips. So I did explain briefly in my last podcast, but I will explain here as well. I have a bag of various balls of wool that I am crocheting up into tulips. So very simply, you crochet a rectangle, you fold it in half, sew down the side, cinch the top and the bottom, stick it on a stick, and you get a beautiful tulip. Obviously I am very much simplifying that because you didn't come here for a tulip tutorial, but that will be the first one. So I have worked out that if I finish all of the yarn intended for the tulip, so all of the scraps of yarn in various blues, turquoises and purples and dark blues as well, I will use 512 grams or over 512 grams. That would be great because not only does it get 500 grams out of my stash, it will also give me a beautiful project. Now these, because they are worked in rectangles and it's single crochet, these will be quite quick and easy to finish. Some of the yarn is thicker than others, so I will get various different sizes, but I am hoping to use up, as I say, a majority of the yarn so that I can get all of that out of my stash. I would really not like to be left with a lot of scraps. If I am, I will have to look into something else to do with those. Maybe do stripy tulips, or maybe alternate the colours in some sort of way, or maybe just make them fatter or skinnier or shorter, or adapt it somehow so that I can use all of the yarn. So as I said, when I finish the tulip project, that will be over 512 grams finished. The next project that I would like to get done in the next 3 months is a sweater that I'm working on. So this was quite a complex project that I started a number of years ago. It is a colour work yoked project, crochet project. So it uses sort of a light yellow and a hand-dyed white skein of yarn. So I started working on the yoke, and I put it down, I think because my crochet count was wrong. So I was put off by the fact that I would need to rip back the pattern, and because I thought that I had followed it to a T, but clearly I haven't. So I need to decide whether to restart that or to sit down in a quiet space and work out what went wrong and pick it up and see if I can rectify the problem. I feel as though I'm probably a different clothes size as well, so that would probably add to the issue of just picking it up again. I don't really want to spend hours and hours and hours on a project that won't fit me in the end. So that's something that I'll need to work on, is whether to restart it or whether to continue working on it. I think talking about it out loud, I think I will probably rip it back and restart it, maybe do a different pattern or restart the pattern if I feel that that's something that I want to do. The only problem with ripping it back is that it has got mohair in it. So it's cotton and mohair, and mohair can be quite difficult to pull back because it's very fluffy. It sort of gets a bit stuck. So I'll see how that goes. So finishing the yellow sweater would use up 1,134 grams of yarn. So again, quite a lot. Throughout those 2 projects, I will probably be working on possibly finishing some hats, some simple crochet hats, because I have quite a lot of 100 gram skeins left in my stash that are very quick and very easy to crochet up into hats to sell at probably Christmas markets or to put online. And again, that will be quite a simple way of getting rid of sort of 100 gram skeins in my stash at the moment. So one that I've just got in front of me, this isn't a full skein, it's We Love Yarn by Hobby. It's bulky and I've got about 6 skeins of this left in my stash. So it'd be really nice to, as I said, get rid of the full skeins to make hats or various different projects with, and possibly look at some ways to use some of the scrap cotton yarn that I have as well. So again, I'll have to look into something for that, a different project for that. But the main 2 projects that I will be working on in the next 3 months, hopefully, will be tulips and my sweater project. And that together will get rid of about 1,600 grams of yarn. So as I said, in the last quarter or the first quarter of the year, I finished around 1,700 grams of yarn. I'm hoping that in the next 3 months I can finish 2 kilograms of yarn. I'm setting myself quite a high target because obviously the months of April to June are a bit longer, and I feel quite focused at the moment to get on with more crochet. Saying that, my weekends will be busier. I'm pretty booked up over the next 2 months with weekends, different friends having different parties and things, but that is my hope, to crochet in the evenings and get a lot of these, firstly works in progress projects finished, but also to finish 2 kilograms of yarn. So hopefully I will see you in another 6 months with a quick update. I am not sure whether I'll put the numbers on the screen. I know that this video has just been sort of me throwing numbers at you, but I really like seeing other people's numbers, so hopefully you like seeing mine as well. I will be doing probably another yarn tour in 3 months' time when you can see more of a difference in the stash. Maybe I have started to organise it a little bit differently, but at the moment, 3 months in, because I did the stash tour, I think was it in February, it won't look much different. It doesn't look that much different at all. So as I said, I will be coming back with a bit of an update in 3 months' time. And if you want to stay in touch with my projects in the meantime, I release a new podcast every month, the start of every month, and I also show you the behind the scenes of my business, where I make a lot of project bags for crochet and sewing projects. So if that's something that interests you, feel free to subscribe or stick around. And apart from that, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions or you want any advice or anything in particular that takes your interest or your fancy, please leave a comment below or feel free to get in touch via the links below, either my email or my website. And apart from that, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, take care. Bye.